Good morning, everyone. It's your boy Trey Life with B-Phil, back again on 4/17/23 for the latest of the trade ideas. Let me turn this music down just a bit. Let's take it down to 20. All right, and we'll take this down to 30 dBs. All right, it looks like we're ready to go ahead and jump right into this. All right, we're gonna hide market cipher. So, where did we last leave off on the NASDAQ? So on Friday, we were looking for this particular zone to get tapped into and to fall off. So it looks like price actually exploded through this supply zone. As we can clearly see, right? Boom, exploded through and then dropped off. Now it looks like we're coming back up to retest, or what we probably call redistribution, to ultimately go lower. So let's zoom in a bit and see. Okay, so price blew up, boom, started to come down, came back up, went down, bam. So at this break right here, that's where we could have looked for potential entries. Let's go over there and let's see. So price came up, tapped in, boom, pulled back a bit, came down, breaker structure down, break down, right? So on lower time frames, on Friday, if we were watching this, we could potentially had a trade something like that. That had a 1 to 3.84 risk reward ratio on it. But if we're being sane, logical, we say we came down and burst it down, so we're gonna move the stop to break even, right? Burst it down, trail right here, another burst down, right? Probably trail to right here. So then we potentially be looking at something like this, right? Which really not that great, but you know, looking at your strategy and being honest with it is, I think, one of the bigger parts of trading. So 188. So then we see price, bam, bam, reaccumulate, break up, break a structure, right? We finally see it come back down, boom, break down. Now we could draw something like this, right? So breaks down here, comes back up, right? And if we went on lower time frame, we'd probably be able to see we had this small break here, come back up, and we want to see this, right? Sell stop this. Something like that. And the most, boom, okay. So it falls off here. See this burst, comes back. We fall off again, we probably trail it here, here, probably after here. So something like this. Right there, 1 to 1.5, 1.62 actually. 1 to 1.62 risk reward. And that would pretty much be it for that. Realistically, you could say, okay, well, maybe trail down to here, 1 or 2. Yeah. So those are potential entries that you could potentially see on NASDAQ after it exploded through the zone. Now we're seeing it come back, and it's just dancing around this area. It looks like we just recently had a break, double break. We're coming back up to retest something in here. So if we went ahead and went to like a 30-minute or something like that, we see this break up, right? Maybe it's a UTAD in here or an up thrust. We see a breakdown. Now we're trying to see a retest here. So let's go ahead and check out what we believe might happen this week or even today. So something like this, right? Looking for shorts. We're looking for running this particular area there. which is the 12,964 point level or area or price. You can call it whatever you want. And we're looking for a price to tap into or cross 13,109.4 points before we look for a particular trade. So we're gonna put in an alert here. And we are gonna wait for price to go ahead and tap into this. So we have this up, we're gonna click the alert button. Boom. And now we just wait. So let's go to the euro. So let's go ahead and zoom out, see what we were expecting. So coming up to Friday, it looks like we pushed into the zone pretty aggressively. And we just stayed in it. Now it looks like we're slightly coming down. I expect the euro potentially to come up and do something like this. Right, this large candle right here. Now, of course, we'd want to go down lower time frame, potentially refine it. So we see price breaking up here. We see it finally break down, right? Break down again. But I still think we should come back up here and retest something. Now, if you look, price came, barely made it open, and it just fell off. So I think we have potential to come back into this area for mitigation. So let's continue to look. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this because I think that's invalidated. Now we're starting to see a push down. All right, let's go ahead and go to the daily real quick. Yeah, maybe a short term push down. Still looks like we're pretty bullish, but you know, short term bearish here. So I'd say daily, and come down, break up right here. Right. So I'll move down into there somewhere. So then we go and zoom in. And we see, okay, well, this is a range, nice little range. Price come up to here, tapers back down. See price break down, break up, break up. All right, so we look for where the last come from. In here, no. We have the open, mitigate the open, take off, take off. So I'd probably say something like this. And then we can go ahead and refine the supply zone. So we see price break up right here, boom. We see it fall off again, reaccumulate. We see one come back up into here. I'd probably say this zone here. Now, when you're looking at this is hourly, right? So when you start to zoom in, let's zoom into a 15-minute, and we see price starting to kind of want to go back up. You see it move into here. So if we did, we want to see what we could potentially get in here if we took this entire area as our stop. Yeah, I mean 1 to 4.58. That seems like a very reasonable risk reward. Take a -1 for potential 4.58. So we see price starting to reaccumulate here. We probably want to see it drop a little bit lower here. Probably like liquidate this before going higher. Now, if we wanted to continue to refine, this looks like a perfect area right here, right, to look for price to tap into, which gives us an even finer entry. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put an alert here, call that a supply zone, and we'll leave it at that. right, let's look at gold. So for gold, we were looking for potential bounce to go up, but it looks like we might be moving down. Yes, so we had down, right? And we finally broke up. So now, if we're gonna continue on, right, then we had this breakdown, break up. Where did that come from? I mean, I guess you could say somewhere, probably like the wick in here. So let's go down to a 2 hour, maybe a 1 hour. And all we're looking for is, here we go, right here. Something like that. It looks like we're tapped in. But the way that this fell off, I think we could probably punch back lower into here. So then we want to go to a 15-minute, see what's going on down here. Yeah. I mean, I'd want to see this ran. So we'll put a alert here and we'll say STB or secondary test in phase B, right? And then when this breaks down here, we want to see a break above and then a retest. All right, we'll leave that. Now let's look at some stocks. Let's look at some stocks, see how we're kicking off the beginning of the week here. All right, the awesome and amazing. So it looks like we had a recent, I'd say, breaker structure up if you're looking at fractal price action, right? So break, 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 right? And then we finally have a large candle move to the upside. We have a little pullback to the upside. So I think we're starting the week bullish, it looks like. Let's go ahead and zoom in and see what we got going on here. So we broke above here, last down move, somewhere in there. Yep, looks like we already had this as a wick, or this last candle right here. Now moving up aggressively, moving up, right? Finally starting to look like it's gonna turn around. Maybe we see a mitigation here. Let's go ahead and zoom in a bit more, see what's going on. Price break. Let me see a breakdown, retest, breakdown. Looks like we're possibly distributing here, right? Maybe somewhere in here. Let's go ahead and go down a little bit further and see what's going on. Yeah, something like this. Because if we're already expecting it to go down, then we certainly want to see it go down from this area, which this area that I'm speaking of right now is $102.64 to $103.20. And we're looking for a potential drop back down to $98 or a cross of $98 and about 42 cents. So we're looking for that move down. So this might be a decent area to short here. Break down, retest. Let's go ahead and go a little bit lower. All right, so we're looking at price, boom, it looks like it's coming back up, but as it was coming back up, we see it starting to break down, so maybe a double NB to the downside right now at the open. We could see something like this, and we want to see it run at least here, 1 to 4. So we'll leave that there and see what happens with it. Let's go to Bitcoin. Looks like Bitcoin dropped off quite a bit. We were at 30K last week. Looks like we had this, well, let's zoom out, see what we had. Yeah, we want to see it come into here to take off higher, but it looks like we're starting to see a move down here. So let's go ahead and clear out that bias. And let's go to the daily. We had a large black candle to the downside, or if you want a red day, large red move. Structure break. Probably want to see it come back, retest before continuing short. Let's go ahead and go to the monthly and see where we're at. Break. I mean, potentially we'd want to see it have some kind of move down, right? Something like this. And that's on a monthly, right? We look on a weekly. Yeah, I mean, this might be a pretty drastic move to see it go back down to 20 grand. But maybe that's what people need right now, you know, fluctuating a 10K down. About 9 grand down, right? Almost 10. So go to the daily. I mean, price is, you know, we're starting to get this black candle here start to move down. And it looks like a pretty solid move down. But, I mean, we've been pretty bullish on Bitcoin thus far for this last 3 weeks. Quite bullish. Break up, but now we're starting to see some breaks, right? So we want to see it ultimately probably move back up, tap into something like this, right? And then look for it to double and be to the downside, with the idea that we could see it go down to 20K. But then we'd want to refine it here. So we see large move down, break up, that's a wick. We say, where did that come from? So then we want to look for a refinement in the supply zone here. So, I mean, maybe something like this, but really something like this, more akin to that. Although you still have a lot of room for it to run in here, and you could actually see. I mean, I kind of don't like this like halfway mitigated. Like for instance, this one here, it is pretty much halfway. It opens and then it mitigates all the way down to this bottom zone and continues up. Price continues up, moves down, continues up. Maybe in here, I mean, you can see halfway mitigation. And when I'm saying mitigated, right, that just means that the fair price in that area was tested in a way, right? So it came down and said, okay, well, do we want to be sellers or do we want to flip at this point? No, we don't. So continue buying, right? So that might be even more realistic because it's only about halfway, right? So let's go. How did this go all the way over here? I don't know how that stretched so far. Oh, I know how it stretched far because I was on a higher time frame. So if I was like on a weekly and we had that large area, let's go ahead and move it in a bit. There we go. All right. So now we see something like that. Oh, wow. And we move this over here. Go to the 1 hour. Awesome. What are we looking at? Maybe what's it, 2 hour? So break here. This is the 3 hour. Probably the 4 hour, huh? No, it looked like it was the 3 hour, right? Break up. Like we said, about halfway mitigation in there. Now we're looking for price to go ahead and fall off here. Come back into the zone, which is $30,212. Look for a retest there, and then look for it to continue down until we get to around, let me put this alert on first, and I'll tell you, until we get to around $25,155.69, which would be a very good trade in this range. So it would be something like this, right? You could already see that's a 2.29. It taps back in. 1 to 12.83 risk reward. I mean, are you willing to take a -1 for that? Yes, I am, B-Phil. I'm indeed. All right, and I think that's pretty much going to conclude the beginning of the week outlook. As always, hit the thumbs up if you liked the video, hit thumbs down if you didn't. Feedback is very important. And leave a comment for what else you would like to see. As always, you have a wonderful week. I hope you're changing and growing every single day and making a new way for yourself. It's your boy Trey Life B-Phil. I'm out.